images for you. We'll start with the Sunday Times. It leads with a young mother jailed in England for 2.5 years for having an abortion. And also it looks at Rishi Sunak's multi-billion-pound package promise to ease the cost of living crisis.
The Observer leads with former PM Gordon Brown's warning that the Tory government and Boris Johnson need to sign off on an emergency budget to combat the cost of living.
Interesting, Liz Truss says she's going to have, if she gets in, she'll have an emergency budget in September. The Sunday Express leads with the GBNEWS exclusive interview with Rishi Sunak. He promised to jail child groomers for life.
And the Daily Mirror, homing on the NSPCC's alert over TikTok perverts targeting schoolgirls being paid for wearing their school uniform. That's a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Weird people now.
They are.
OK, let's go through those papers in a bit more detail with the anthropologist, that woman off of Time Team, Mariana Hotter, and Tom Slater, editor of Spikes. Good to see you both this morning.
And other things since 2012.
Yeah, but Time Team was brilliant. I used to love that show.
I thought I recognised you from somewhere.
Classic.
You're a legend.
Other things such as Mystic Britain or, Ancient Impossible or...
Wow, we've been busy.
GBNEWS.
Yeah.
GBNEWS.
Great.
Oh, you don't pull a face at that. This is the highlight of your career, Marianne, I'm telling you. Let's have a look at the Sun on Sunday, Marianne, an airport coffee. When you head to the airport, well, you either want a coffee or a lager, depending on who you are.
Or your fry-up, obviously.
Well, I don't know if it's... I don't know if you're the same, but I have this kind of little thing where I have like a ritual when I go to the airport, because it's exciting, especially when we haven't done it for 2 years.
Yeah, what is this ritual?
Well, the ritual is you're allowed to go and get yourself a nice sandwich and, have a coffee and all, buy a magazine if you want. All those things that I normally, in normal day-to-day life, kind of go, oh, I probably shouldn't, that's a bit of a waste of money. I'll wait till I get home.
Look in the electronics shop,
Yeah.
which sells all the... and never, ever buy anything. That's what I always do. Why do you buy...
Browse the neck cushion.
Oh, yeah.
All that stuff. Trying all the makeup and spray stuff.
Yeah, that's me, that's what I do.
Standard. But if you are going to the airport, shock, horror, breaking news, it's going to cost you more for your coffee and your bacon roll.
Mm-hmm.
So the Sun have delightedly and very pleased with themselves done a kind of exclusive reveal, investigative journalism. It turns out if you're buying a bacon roll in Gatwick, it's £4.35. Meanwhile, if you were down the road in Crawley, it would be £3.25.
Alright.
In Stansted Airport, let's give you one in Manchester all-day breakfast wrap, £4.80. Almond croissant, £3. I mean, there's a whole...
It's a
They've been busy. They've sent people to all these different airports and they've written down the numbers and now they're telling us the numbers. But basically, Starbucks are saying, if you want to buy a bacon roll at the airport, it's going to cost you. It's the same as buying your milk from the corner shop rather than from Tesco's. It's going to cost you a bit more for the convenience and for the fact that you're stuck in an airport.
Yeah. Plus, what do they... you've got to look at what ground rent do they have to pay or whatever on...
Well, exactly. We are in a capitalist society, so either pay it or bring your own... You could always bring your own sarnies to the airport, couldn't you?
Bring your own drinks, so... You'd never get them through security, would you?
No, that's true.
That's the thing, you have to buy it,
bottle and refill it with water on the other side. But no, you are stuck with the coffee. Either drink it or don't.
Do you know a good thing now? A good thing now that I did for the first time, the last trip I went on, was those airport lounges you can go to. And it's about £20,
Yeah.
but then it's unlimited food and drinks, including alcohol. Well then, if Starbucks, if a sandwich and a coffee is going to cost you £10, £15 anyway, you might as well just go all out and stock up. I was filling my handbag. I was getting my money's worth. Had a couple of gins. It was 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you say I used to do that sort of...
Yeah, that's
I
me.
knew it.
But there you go. That's my the airport now. Because you do, and it drives me mad. If you have a sandwich and a coffee in the airport, you are looking at about £15. And you're a captive audience. If you're hungry, you've got to eat.
Yeah, so for an extra £5, you get a comfy seat thrown in. And seconds.
And gin.
Yeah, and gin. Amazing. Everyone I work with really likes to have a good old drink.
No.
I'm naming no more names. Just like a drink to have.
Yeah.
Let's have a look, Tom, at the Sunday Mirror, should we? In the Prime Minister's money tree, This is a bit of a... They're selling their house, apparently.
Yeah, so it's not bad economic times for everyone, it turns out. So Boris Johnson and Carrie Johnson are selling their Camberwell 4-bedroom townhouse. They put it on the market for 1.6 million. So if they manage to sell it, they'll be looking at a 400k profit.
You say it was a 4-bedroom?
4-bedroom.
Well, that's quite cheap in London. Is that awful to say?
It is.
Yeah. Well, London's a joke, isn't it? It's like a flat can be $1 million.
Exactly. And it's
Wow.
I mean, this is almost like an extended sort of Zoopla ad as far as it talks about. It's a very spacious garden, very nice finished white countertops and all
Funky
the rest.
wallpaper.
There's not one thing that I think readers will have noticed, as you just did there, Ellie, is the fact that we all saw those images of the designs from Lulu Little in number 10. We've never seen the inside of number 10 exactly, but, you know, very flamboyant, all the rest of it. This actually very stripped back, so when you haven't got a Tory donut to bankroll it,
Yeah, well,
taste
no one has
changes
to pay
somewhat.
for it.
You just get some Dulux paint. Look it on the wall.
It is very stripped back.
I tell you what, I do feel... Well, I don't know how to say sorry for them. You know, I mean, they're renting out. They have nowhere to live at the moment.
Yeah, well, they actually, there's...
Because they're not living in that, because it's rented out.
Well, apparently they haven't rented it out.
No,
they were intending to, and they never got round to it.
No.
As you do. And then there was also, they've got a...
No, it is. I can tell you, it is rented out.
Are you saying that?
Yeah, it is rented out, and they cannot get back in it because the rent.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you that for a fact. Yeah.
Well, apparently...
So the Daily Mail, know what it is. The Sunday Mirror got the facts right on that.
Well, apparently they've also got another 1.2 million 4-bed detached house in Oxfordshire, so they've always got that to fall back on.
Yeah.
If this doesn't pan out.
Oh, it's all right.
They're having to stay with friends at the moment.
Didn't realise that.
Yeah, they are literally staying with friends because they have nowhere else to live.
I think it's remarkable. They've got friends still. So, you know.
It's a bit odd for a prime minister, though, isn't it?
Well, you reap what you sow. I've got no sympathy for him.
No,
Why are they
you
not
wouldn't
staying in
do.
Oxfordshire if they've got a house in Oxfordshire?
I don't know, the
That not
commute. I'm not sure how much is
What's
going on.
happened to Checkers? Why can't he be in number 10?
Well,
He's
no,
not-
we can
he's
at
not
the
been
moment.
chucked off the job
no,
yet.
No, but in a matter of weeks. In a matter of weeks, they won't have anywhere to live.
I don't care.
You don't want him to be homeless. He's got children.
I don't think he will be homeless.
No, it's not going to be.
I genuinely, I'm not really sure where
not
you're
homeless, but they are.
You're
Yeah.
saying
He's got
it's going
options.
They are in effect sofa surfing.
Yes.
You wouldn't
quite-
get that,
Not really,
You wouldn't
because
get
they own a however many £1 million massive house in Oxfordshire.
The point, it's difficult for everyone out there at the moment, including owners of multi-million pound.
Yeah, poor owners.
Yeah.
Oh.
No sympathy, it's heartless, Marianne. Tell us about what we're going to do with our water and the water advice we're getting. It's in the Mail on Sunday.
Yeah, perennial favourite, laughing at the advice that you get given by a utility company.
Oh, excellent.
Because, tiny tweaks that you might make may well make no difference at all, for example, for the millions of litres of, being leaked out of pipes.
Yeah.
So, do you want some of the advice?
Yes, please.
Yep.
Okay. While you're having a shower, put a pot in the shower with you to collect some of the water, and you can use that to flush the loo.
Oh, get away.
Can't be doing that.
Well, you could. I mean,
Well, you could.
When you've turned the shower on and you're waiting for the water to heat up, definitely collect that water. And you
Yeah.
could use that to make a cup of tea, couldn't you, really? Because it's... that's not nice. But you could.
That's just something you do.
It's clean. It's the same tap water, isn't it? But you could use it to water your plants,
Yeah.
for example, pour in the garden. Thames Water have suggested that, I'm going to quote it here because otherwise it just sounds very odd. Need to freshen up? Instead of jumping back in the shower, cool off, save water with a damp towel or a spray bottle.
Oh.
So they're not saying don't have a shower each day. They're just saying maybe don't have the second shower of the day.
Right.
It's like we're back in the Victorian era,
Have
isn't
a
it?
flannel wash.
Yeah,
A
a
little
little flannel
flannel.
wash in a...
Little top and tail, yeah.
And tail, yeah.
Quick sick rinse of these.
Sink rinse, there you go. And then, some of the other stuff that they're kind of calling out as bad advice, I think is actually probably reasonable. Things like don't necessarily have as many pots and hanging baskets because then you don't need to water them. I mean, that is dependent on the fact that you might have some other space to create a green area for yourself, you might have another space to grow, so you might want to reduce the number of containers and actually plant those plants in the ground where they are a bit more drought resistant.
Yeah.
That seems possibly reasonable.
Yeah.
And then when you're filling up the dishwasher, don't rinse all the plates. You can just scrape the food off and then put them straight in. You don't need to rinse
You can rinse his plates before you put them in
Lots
the
of people
dishwashing
do.
machine.
Lots of people
Well, I
do.
do.
You
I don't
really
have a
don't need
dishwasher,
to.
but I think I would do that.
rinse or
hand wash is very, very difficult.
Hand wash and then dishwash.
That's I have done that previously, yeah.
Wow.
But I just think I was told that every dishwasher, if you get any.
Well, yeah, so
Didn't
it's
it?
not
Any
true.
dirt?
So I pretty
you
much
put
do it
clean.
clean and then do it.
Oh,
Then do double clean.
I mean, you wouldn't do that, would you?
No, I don't have a dishwasher, so I don't have
I don't have a dishwasher now. It's a tough life.
Exactly. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy out there. But
Honestly.
with the hosepipe ban, could you? So you know the shower trick that you just said. So you could have your little pot, and then you could take it outside into the garden and water your plants.
Yeah.
So there's
That
no
would work. There are loopholes.
Yeah, so there's no ban on using a watering can to water your garden.
Outrageous too.
So there's no kind of mandate on letting all your plants die. It's just that when you've got a hose pipe, it's pumping out, tens of litres a minute, and you can quite easily kind of shove the hose pipe over there, go and make a cup of tea, listen to the rest of the podcast, sort the kids out, watch GBNEWS, all that stuff. And meanwhile, it's kind of over-watering the plants because there's a lot of runoff. Whereas if you're having to, physically manhandle a watering can across your garden, you're going to be a bit more sparing about which plants really need some water, how much you're going to give it, and then you don't have all the kind of residual water wasted.
Yeah.
So it's a hose pipe ban rather than using water in the garden ban.
Or do what the water company suggests and put a big bucket under yourself in the shower and then pour dirty soapy water over your plants.
Well, the plants don't mind soapy water.
Do they not?
No. Most plants. I mean, if you've got like rare orchids, then perhaps, I don't seek advice, but your average garden doesn't mind at all a bit of shower gel.
I can't be trusted with plants. I don't think I've ever kept one alive successfully. I reckon you're good at gardening, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm a northerner.
It's like got to do with it.
No, it's like you trained from birth how to garden.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
I've heard of that.
Stereotype on
Yeah,
everything.
you know, Chelsea Flower Show is in the south, right? And Kew Garden.
Yeah, but that's quite fancy, isn't it?
Oh, so that's a separate category.
Well, that is, but you go to the Chelsea. I went once to the Chelsea Flower Show, and don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. It looks lovely. It does look lovely. But they're not gardens you would ever have at home. They're not like an English garden.
That's the point,
are they?
isn't
They're all just like these fancy little bits here and there. A proper garden, an English garden.
You have like a kind of northern equivalent where it's just a nice little pathway.
Yeah, Stephen, you should open up shop, I think.
Oh my
It's
God.
like municipally planted
Back off.
No, I love a good hosta.
Oh, love a hosta. I
Do
can't
love a
grow a
hosta.
hosta because the slugs eat them.
The slugs do like a hosta. Slugs and the sounds like a hosta. You can't even buy slug pellets anymore. They banned that.
Well, what's the world coming to? Do you know why? It's because it kills the birds.
You gotta start now spreading tea leaves around your hostas or something to put them off at coffee grinds. It's like, the world's gone mad. The world's gone mad.
Tom, talking of the world's gone mad, a Bake Off star has designed a coat and sold it for a small fortune. Tell us about that.
Yes, so we were talking earlier about how stylish Stephen is. If you've got 17 grand to spare, Noel Fielding has a Fendi coat to sell you. So he's done this line with the designer brand Fendi. If this particular coat, which kind of features various different colourful squiggles on it, not a hell of a lot of design work seems to have gone into it, but nevertheless, good money if you can make it. There's also a £970 bomber jacket. There's also knitted sweaters, quilted coat, bags, and boxy shirts.
How much is a knitted sweater?
I haven't got an itemised list.
got the itemised list.
All I've got is the 17 grand jacket.
I'll show you this. I'll show you
£900
this jacket. If we pop it on the. Where are we? Here. So if you're listening on the radio, it's a black kind of long jacket with. It looks like graffiti. Written all over it. It probably took him 2 minutes.
But it's just got, it's
It
got
just says
swirly
Fendi.
stuff on it.
Fendi, lots of different swirls and colours there.
Apparently he calls it his kind of stream of consciousness work. So he just
Really?
notepad or whatever will do these kinds of little designs. He sent a load of them over. They picked the ones they liked and they turned it into.
And you said.
I wouldn't have that given. I've got to be honest. I mean, it looks awful.
Do you know what it reminds me of? Can I make a bit of a left field comparison?
Go on.
Yeah.
There's a prehistoric site on Anglesey called Brincathly Thee. And outside it is this stone with a pattern on it, and kind of marked patterned stones are quite rare in England and Wales, but you find them in Anglesey, and it looks a little bit like that. And they think the reason that someone was kind of scribing these patterns into that stone about 2,500 years ago is because they were high.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that they were maybe taking like magic mushrooms or something. And that when you have those like psychedelic visions, you kind of go, "Whoa, crazy swells."
He's casting aspersions
So,
on Noel Fielding.
I'm not suggesting how Noel
my God.
himself comes to his creative urges, but there's a resemblance for me.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. There you go. I mean,
17
honestly,
grand.
17 grand. I mean, what do you get for 17,000? It's the label. You're paying for the label. I mean,
Paying for no.
just.
Well, it's inflation. I mean, last week it was 14.
Yeah, well, probably, yeah. Get it for free. But see it in a charity shop, you wouldn't think to go, I wouldn't pay 5 for that, would you? No, I'm not having
As
that.
you potter past to the garden centre to get posters.
I love going to the garden centre. I love
With
it.
or without your designer.
And I'll tell you what, ladies and gents, if you like a garden centre, you always have to go one with a cafe, then you can sit outside with a little pot of tea and all that. I love it.
And a
I
jacket
love it.
potato.
No, I don't eat at a garden centre unless you have a scone.
Oh, I do have a jacket potato. Or a scone, that's not a bad idea.
There you go, this
Do
afternoon.
that, Stephen.
Now, Marianne, what's the Sunday Telegraph has revelations about pussycats?
Yeah, yes, they do. So cats love people who hate them because of their reluctance to stroke and fuss them. Gives the cat a feeling of control and independence. Now, you might say, I think I've heard that before, right? If you kind of pull faces at a cat and go, oh, don't touch me, the cat goes, oh, you're my kind of person. You're stuffy and aloof as well. Look at your face. But I'm going to just soldier on regardless. The thinking is that, so some of this research was done at Battersea Dogs and Cats Home, where they are looking to rehome animals, and what they've realised is that that means that people who sometimes say, oh, I know all about cats, or I love cats, aren't always the easiest person for a cat to get along with, because they're a little bit overbearing, or they're a little bit keen, or they're a bit enthusiastic, and they go, I understand cats, so I can stroke it on its tummy and on its tail. Whereas the people who don't really like cats kind of go, oh, I don't really want to stroke you, all right, I'll just stroke you on your head. And cats prefer that. So
They like you to play hard to get.
play hard to get, and don't overuse your cat knowledge, because the cat doesn't necessarily like it.
No, you do have to let cats take control, but cats respond to love. The more affection you give a cat, the more affection you get back from the cat.
But on their terms.
On their turn. Oh, yeah, on their turn.
Whereas a dog, most dogs, no, actually that's not true. I've seen lots of dogs respond really badly to people going, I really want to tug you. And the dog's going, help me, help me, help me. And
But a
no one
lot of
is.
the
And you can
time-
see that the dog is resisting the urge to, like all dogs have teeth, you know, and there's suddenly this hand coming towards them and they're getting stressed. So even though dogs sometimes tolerate it, read the animal.
Yeah. I think it does depend with the breed, doesn't it? I mean, some dogs are really cuddly, others less so. But generally, I think
dogs, this is a cat chat.
No, but we're talking about the differences, Stephen.
Cats do not get enough attention. You cat, mate.
I like cats. I haven't got a cat. I do like it. But I always thought this was the rule of thumb. If you kind of did shy away from them, they would kind of gravitate towards it. But are you saying, Stephen, that over time?
Yeah, over time, you don't want to smother a cat. But bear in mind, cats go to people who are ignoring them so that they can mark. It's purely about marking you and saying, well, you're mine. I own you. I'm gonna rub my scent all over you.
Yes.
It's all about ownership.
Apparently they have green areas, so base of the ears,
Oh, they love
face, because that's where their little scenty gland
that.
bits
Yeah,
are.
top of the head, you got the glands on the
Oh, there. And red areas, the kind of only on my terms kind of bits. Base of the tail, stomach, for example.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. But anyone who's a cat lover out there who's got cats, you know, they love to be loved. They do. They love to be adored. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, hang on a minute. Have we got more time to fill
No.
with cat chat? Oh.
No.
Can I just make a shout out to my neighbour's cat, Fred?
Oh.
The meanest cat in town.
Oh, no, it's
Chases dogs down the street.
Oh, well,
cracks me up.
You're settling scores with cats.
No, I kind of respect him because he just doesn't give a monkeys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Fred.
Oh,
Go on,
dear.
Oh, Fred, morning to you. Marianne, Tom, thank you. We'll catch
Oh,
up with you a
you've
little
made
bit
us
later.
smile. We needed that. Thank you both.
Coming up, we've got all the top stories after a look at the weather.